Breaking news tonight, a stunning development that is sending shockwaves across Washington. Federal agents from the FBI have raided the Maryland home and Washington, D.C. office of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. This is not just another high-profile raid. It represents one of the most dramatic escalations in the ongoing battles over classified documents, political accountability, and the limits of power in the United States. Agents reportedly spent hours at both locations, searching carefully and carrying out boxes of material. The operation was authorized by a judge in Maryland, which means investigators had to present credible and fresh evidence, what in legal terms is called probable cause, that Bolton may still be holding classified government information. For the FBI to move forward at this level, the bar is high. They must demonstrate that sensitive documents, possibly linked to national security, remain in Bolton's possession long after he left government service. And here lies the key difference. Unlike a former president, who has unique legal allowances for holding certain types of classified records, John Bolton had no such authority. If proven true, this raid could place him in direct violation of federal law. Now, to understand why this matters so deeply, let's take a step back. John Bolton is not a marginal figure. He was a central player in U.S. foreign policy, serving as National Security Advisor to Donald Trump from 2018 to 2019. During that time, he was at the table for some of the most sensitive and high-stakes discussions in modern U.S. history, including North Korea's nuclear program, Iran's sanctions, and the U.S. withdrawal from international agreements. But Bolton's relationship with Trump quickly soured. By 2020, he had become one of Trump's fiercest critics, publishing a controversial memoir titled The Room Where It Happened. That book was a bombshell filled with insider accounts, sharp criticisms of Trump, and allegations that the administration mishandled major foreign policy issues. The Trump White House immediately accused Bolton of leaking classified material through his book. The Department of Justice even launched a criminal inquiry into the matter, attempting to block publication and arguing that Bolton had violated confidentiality agreements. However, when the Biden administration took office, the investigation was quietly shut down, widely viewed as a political decision to move on. But this week's raid changes everything. It signals that investigators may have uncovered new, concrete evidence suggesting that Bolton retained sensitive material not just years ago during his book publication, but right now, in 2025. For the FBI to take this step, something must have convinced them that Bolton's home and office still contain critical classified documents. President Trump, when asked about the raid, quickly responded that he had no prior knowledge and no involvement. But he did not hesitate to attack Bolton personally, calling him a longtime adversary and labeling him a sleazebag. This exchange reflects a deeper and ongoing feud between the two men. Trump has accused Bolton of Trump derangement syndrome, suggesting his criticisms are personal and politically motivated. Bolton, in turn, has repeatedly slammed Trump's foreign policy decisions, accusing him of being reckless and unfit for office. The raid has reignited this feud, but beyond the personal drama, it raises serious questions about how the law is applied. Trump supporters argue that the justice system has been weaponized against conservatives. But as legal experts point out, this search warrant was signed not in a conservative court but by a Maryland judge, a jurisdiction not known for leaning in Trump's favor. That makes it difficult to argue this was purely political. What does this mean for Bolton's future? If agents found classified documents at his home, Bolton could face charges under the Espionage Act or other federal statutes relating to the mishandling of national security information. Such charges carry heavy penalties, including prison time. And unlike other figures, Bolton cannot claim the protections of executive privilege or presidential authority. This is why the raid has sent a chill through Washington's political establishment. It's a reminder that even those at the highest levels of government can face scrutiny and potentially prosecution for mishandling sensitive material. But the story doesn't stop there. While the Bolton raid dominated headlines, another federal ruling in Florida is generating its own storm of controversy. Late last night, a federal judge blocked the expansion of a detention facility nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz. This site, converted from a state airport, had been used by federal authorities to hold and process detainees, making immigration enforcement faster and more efficient. The ruling ordered the immediate halt of expansion efforts, forcing the removal of generators, sewage systems, lighting, and other infrastructure. The stated reason? Environmental and indigenous land concerns, particularly claims that the facility threatens endangered species in the Florida Everglades. On paper, this looks like a victory for environmental and native groups, who argued that federalizing the site put ecosystems at risk. But critics call the ruling deeply political. They note that the same land had operated as a state-run airport for decades without any objections about its impact on wildlife. The moment it became a federal detention facility tied to immigration enforcement, lawsuits began to appear. Organizations that brought the case, including environmental nonprofits and native advocacy groups, now face accusations of using ecological concerns as a front to disrupt immigration policies. Legal experts say the judge's ruling may not survive appeal, as the difference between state and federal control should not change whether the land harms endangered species. Still, for now, the ruling effectively halts operations, slowing deportations and adding strain to an already overwhelmed immigration system. Taken together, these two events, the raid on John Bolton and the court ruling in Florida, highlight the sharp intersections of law, politics, and governance in America today. On one side, a powerful Washington insider faces unprecedented scrutiny over national security secrets, raising the question of whether justice is finally being applied equally across party lines. On the other, immigration enforcement collides with environmental activism, leaving courts to decide how far federal authority can go. For viewers at home, these stories reveal the fragile balance between law enforcement, political agendas, and public trust in the system. And so tonight, the message is clear: no one is above the law, not even former national security advisors. And in the realm of immigration, even environmental rulings can reshape national policy. These developments are far from over, and both will likely spark fierce debate in the days and weeks to come. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Global Insight News for more world updates.